Listen, I'm just tired of hearing this fat dude run his mouth. He's so fake and phony. He's about as fake as his teeth. Punk Master Flex goes out on the radio, does a 40-minute rant over something he could have cleared up in 10 seconds. Which he doesn't. He reiterates the same thing he said before, but talking about his tone was different. No, it had nothing to do with your tone. It's the point of why. Why do you feel a need to do this today? It's been 20 years, and all of a sudden today you talking about you want to make it clear. No, you want to make it clear because Tupac got a movie coming out, and you want to ride the Pac wave like everybody else. You was like, man, everybody else riding Pac. I need to talk about Pac so I can get some attention, because ain't nothing going on in hip-hop right now that my fat butt can talk about. T.I. told this man very respectfully, like, the fact that you're bringing this up right now, like, why would you speak on a dead man like this? And you bring up a lot of points that are basically known facts, but what are you getting at is what I was trying to get to. I want to hear his point as to what in the world is the reason behind all this. And according to Punk Master Flex's reason that he's telling everybody else, he's only doing this because Tupac lied on Biggie and Biggie got killed because Tupac lied on him. So that's why he was killed. Now, that's his whole point for this ride. Who you said you barely knew, B.I.G., didn't even know him that well. So, you've been on the radio for like 40 years. You never really knew Biggie, but you knew, and said you basically know nothing about the West Coast, but you know that's the reason why Biggie was killed. Because Tupac said he set him up and got him shot in 94. That's pretty weird, because here's the thing. Tupac, when he went there, I already stated, Tupac did shoot himself first. I've always stated that. The doctor has clarified that. The way the projectile went, he shot himself, and then the other gunshots followed. He was shot 3 times, not 5. Now, this is known facts, but this is not even the point. The point is, you wanted to bring this back up because Pac has a movie coming out. Then you disrespect T.I. as to bringing up something that has nothing to do with what T.I. was talking about. Trying to say, well, I was with Pac and Digital Underground when they first came out in 1990. I was the first one playing Digital Underground joints. That was 1990. T.I., you was 10. No disrespect, but you was 10. That has nothing to do with what he's talking about. Tupac was shot in 94, so T.I. would have been 14 years of age. But you keep going back to 1990 and talking about Digital Underground, which has nothing to do with what's going on and what he was talking about. That happened in 94, where he was 14 years of age. But you keep going back to Digital Underground in 1990. Showing plaques. This is a plaque! Like, oh, what is your point? You're trying to deceive the naive people. by showing them that. And keep talking about 1990 that T.I. was 10. So for the dumb, they'll try to put that in their brain and be like, T.I. was 10 when Pac got shot. You see, that's what he's trying to manipulate you guys to believe, so that whatever Tip is saying has no merit. You bring up all of these dumb things in your comments talking about, he lied! He lied! First off, the man just got shot. He didn't know who did what when he first got shot. Biggie was friends with them. Biggie knew them. Biggie had warned him about hanging out with him, with those dudes. So Biggie was friends with those guys. Puffy knew those guys. Didn't he not blame Andre Harrell? Did he not blame Puffy? Did he not blame Junior Mafia and Biggie because they were there? And then he said, well, if they didn't, they know who shot me. And you said Pac never addressed it. He never came to them. When he was in jail, he did an interview with Vibe. He named these guys with Kevin Powell. Kevin Powell decided to change the names because he was fearing for his life for putting their names in there. So Pac told the truth in the interview, in the Vibe interview. He told the story right there in the Vibe interview. And Powell decided not to put it out. And what did he tell Powell? You let me down. So, what is he talking about? Big had to come out and say what he's accusing me of isn't true. Big wasn't coming out to see him. He was like, man, Big, come see me. Tell me what went on. Yeah, I'm going to holler at you about that. And he never really got back in contact with him. No one talks about that. No, Big didn't set him up. And he kind of knew after a while. But he's like, you knew and you didn't tell me. He felt you knew what was going down and you didn't let me know. Or you had to know something. And if you didn't know, you was faking like you were Don and all this stuff. You faking. But as far as Puffy involvement, he believed Andre Harrell was involved. The man was paranoid. He'd been shot. The day after he was shot, he wanted to be moved out of the hospital effective immediately after being shot. The doctors, everybody's trying to convince him to stay. He was paranoid. He didn't want to drink nothing. He didn't want nothing in his IV. He think the government's coming to get him. He was very paranoid. He had just been shot. He's not thinking straight. He think the government's after him. He thinking people are after him. And the majority of the time he was right. But to say he was strapped because he knew he had problems is false. False. Pac always had a gun on him when he was in New York. He come to New York, he had guns on him. He had people to bring him guns. Biggie and them used to bring him weapons. You knew that. When he come in town, he never wanted to be out here naked. He always had some people that was around him that was strapped, or he was strapped. So I don't understand how you miss all this. This is like common knowledge. And you can't even pull that you was 10 stuff with me. Period. Point blank. Pac was on the East Coast and he filmed 2 movies on the East Coast. So yes, he was on the East Coast during that time, working. He didn't have a crib. The place he was staying at had gotten robbed, And he had put all his stuff in his homeboy's crib and was just living in hotels during that time. So when he was in New York, he was living from house to house to another girl he was kicking it with, Jasmine Guy, a couple other places, till he recuperated. He wouldn't stay in one place too long. He was paranoid. He didn't have any beef. Pac chose to go ahead and he went to the club. If you had beef with somebody, would you go to a nightclub in New York and do an interview? He did an interview with this guy in the club, and he told everything about the trial, how it was split up, how he was set up, mentioned people and saying these guys are doing this and that and they set me up. He did that in an interview, and that's why things was put in motions to have him robbed. They was just gonna rob him. This is common knowledge. Everybody knows this by now, and no names need to be mentioned. So why are we having this conversation? And then you said they thought they blamed him for that. No. They blame They took out Biggie to hurt Puffy. Big was taken out to hurt Puff. That had to do with Puff. Was never over no rap. Was never over no 94 shooting. And it wasn't because Pac just died 6 months ago, now we gotta go get Biggie. If that was the case, Biggie wouldn't have been in California. But you want to use that as your whole thing, and then you on there trying to cry. Like, it's because of Biggie, man. He lied, man. He lied. And about to cry. Come on, man. It's phony. You're phony. You're a fake and you're a fraud. Just tell the truth. You're tanking right now. You need some attention. But this is not the attention you want. I'm not wishing harm on you. But this is what happens when your ratings are down and you feel like you got to create some drama and then try to play like I'm just telling the truth. Knowing you just trying to irate people and get people all drawn up in a frenzy to go off on you. Biggie was not killed because of anything that happened in Quad Studios. That's a lie. You're telling a lie. It wasn't because Pac said Biggie had him robbed and all that stuff. That's a lie. Pac always said Biggie knew what happened. Meaning that he knew the dudes that did it. He knew I was going to get this. That was his whole thing. Not Big was the guys that did it or set it up. He knew something. He must have known. If he didn't know, then he ain't the Don he says he is. His anger with them is the fact that they let him go. When he went to jail, they didn't even come visit him once. They never came to see how he was doing. They never tried to bail him out. Nothing. So they were in line with the people who hit him up. That's how he looked at it. He looking at his homeboy Stretch. You forgot to mention the fact that he cut Stretch off the same night. The homeboy that was with him. He ain't talked to him since. He cut him off. He cut off all the dudes from Thug Life that wasn't really his family. He cut them dudes right off. Destroyed the group. You don't mention that. He couldn't trust nobody. This had nothing to do with just Biggie. I don't see you standing up and crying for them. The guys that was there with him in Thug Life and Stretch. Stretch also knew Biggie, so Stretch was hanging out with Big. So now he's looking like, oh, my homeboys who was there, and I know it was a setup and they must have been in on it because they knew I was strapped and they fell down. He was paranoid. He was looking at any and every little thing. He's overanalyzing it because he was paranoid about the situation. He had just been shot. From an attempt robbery that he never thought somebody was finna rob him. So if he had that kind of, like, people might be coming to get me, he would have been more on point. He wouldn't have been going to the studio in New York the way he was. Not like that. If he had beef. And Andre Harrell and Puffy helped him. And he still thought they set him up. So to say if somebody lying, just say he just didn't know. Because he just didn't know. He didn't know who did what. And he ain't even here no more. It's 20 years later. Why are you talking about it now? Why you ain't do it last year? Why you do it the year before that? Why you do it the year before that? You gonna talk about this and bring it back up 20 years later because the man got a movie coming out. The man went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. His name is out there. And you need some hits. Now stop. Now you stop lying. Stop lying to the public. That's what I'm saying. Nobody needs to give this man any attention. All these rappers and entertainers that keep going on Funkmaster Flex Show or Hot 97, y'all need to write Hot 97 and say, look, this man is doing a travesty to the pioneers of the game. If he can't control himself the same way they did everybody else, he needs to be removed from what he's doing. I mean, like you said, 1990 you was on the radio. It's 2017, brother. It's 2017 and you are still on the air. Think it's about time you turn it over. Turn in your mic. Go play golf and go finish playing tennis or something that you're doing. Because you're doing a disservice. And that's why people don't listen to you no more. You're out of touch. You're out of touch with this new stuff. I get it. I understand it. But what you're doing is a travesty. And instead of you telling the truth, since you want to, nobody wants to tell the truth. No, we telling the truth right here. We talking the truth. I wish I was there when you went live. Because I'd have been right in there and said, let's talk the truth. Let's talk the truth. Because everything I said on here has been true. And he knows it. So, it is what it is, man. I'm done with this. I'm sick and tired of him. And this thing keeps going on and on. So I'm not even finna feed into it no more. I just wanted to just disprove all this fake apology video he put out to clear himself up. I just wanted to let the general public know who might have fell into the trap of this clown and this buffoon. You know, I gotta put some clarity to it. But I'm out.